Su Ye's eyes were sparkling, innocent, yet charming, making one fall for her. Her red lips were slightly open and her breath fragranced orchids. Then she took off her clothes, revealing her white and sexy shoulders. 10,000. Words are omitted to protect the availability of the book. Fang Jinyu put down the book in his hand and was lost in his thoughts. In the end, Fang Jinyu couldn't help but be sure that he had now transmigrated into a female Protagonist Cultivation novel. However, before his transmigration, he had never read such a female Protagonist Cultivation novel. He was definitely in the worst situation. And how did Fang Jinyu realize the situation? It was related to the book in his hand. This morning, the book suddenly appeared in front of him. The book was about a woman named Su Ye who benched numerous handsome guys with her beauty and talent during her cultivation, such as her senior brother, her junior brother, her martial uncle, her master, the Lich King, the King of Demons, and many others. It wasn't the end of the story, but the book stopped mentioning Su Ye. Fang Jinyu felt like crying, but the tears wouldn't come. It wasn't because he had no idea about the story's second half. It was because of his identity. He was Canon Fodder who had only lived for one chapter in the book. If things had gone as expected, he would have had an accident today. A new chapter S1 VE, Ellen. Calm. According to the book's description, Su Ye was doted on by her master after acknowledging him. Since her spiritual roots were to poor, her master was planning to give her a chance to visit the Lingdu Secret Realm. The Lingdu Secret Realm was a place full of cultivating opportunities, prepared for the inner disciples. Although it wasn't hazardous, there were plenty of cultivation opportunities. Every disciple who once entered the Lingdu Secret Realm would successfully break through from the key condensation stage to the foundation establishment stage while leaving. Therefore, all of the Chonling sect's disciples were looking forward to visiting the Lingdu Secret Realm. However, since there were so many benefits to visiting the Lingdu Secret Realm, the number of people allowed to enter would definitely be limited. The Lingdu Secret Realm was opened once every 30 years, and new reservations for being allowed to enter needed to wait at least 100 years later. Of course, there would also be some particular cultivators allowed to enter the Lingdu Secret Realm. For example, Fang Jinyu was allowed particularly to enter the Lingdu Secret Realm, since Fang Jinyu's parents sacrificed themselves for the Chonling sect. The Chonling sect leader allowed him to enter the Lingdu Secret Realm. However, he was also the last one to be allowed particularly. As such, after Su Ye's master failed to obtain a chance for her from the sect leader, she immediately targeted Fang Jinyu. It was because he had no background in the Chonling sect. Ultimately, Fang Jinyu wasn't able to enter the Lingdu Secret Realm. His chance was forcefully taken away by Su Ye's master with his words. Su Ye can't wait for 30 years. Fang Jinyu had to face reality. Even though he was naturally dissatisfied with the situation, he had no choice but to drown his sorrows. However, he accidentally fell off the cliff and lost his life. It seemed that Fang Jinyu's death was caused by his carelessness. However, Fang Jinyu was already at rank 9 in the key condensation stage. Would a cultivator at rank 9 in the key condensation stage die because he was drunk? Who the heck would believe such nonsense? Although a cultivator at rank 9 in the key condensation stage couldn't fly a magical item, he could still stay in the air for a short time. Moreover, not to mention that he learned the wind harness technique, which was a technique that wind spiritual roots cultivators had to learn. As for Fang Jinyu, he was a cultivator with wind, lightning, and fire spiritual roots. He had already mastered the wind harness technique many years ago. Hence, there was definitely something going on behind the scenes of Fang Jinyu's death in the book. Is there anything more unlucky than such a situation? Fang Jinyu's heart was stifled. Meanwhile, the book that appeared early in the morning suddenly turned into a burst of starlight and disappeared. It disappeared ... There's no detailed description either. Fang Jinyu was a little shocked, but his expression was calm. He could handle the situation calmly, because he had dealt with too many bizarre cases in a short time. Then he began to think of a countermeasure. First, he ruled out the possibility of using force to combat the enemy. He was just a cultivator at rank 9 in the key condensation stage. He must be out of his mind to fight a core formation stage cultivator. He was left with no choice but to use his wits. However, Fang Jinyu wasn't an intelligent person. He couldn't come up with any good ideas. After all, an invisible hand wanted him dead even if he was willing to give up the chance to enter the Lingdu secret realm. According to the book, Su Ye's master had already developed feelings for her. In the eyes of Su Ye's master, Su Ye was the purest and most perfect treasure that even the slightest flaw could not taint. However, stealing other people's opportunities was unquestionably a flaw. Her master was the one who made the trade. However, which key condensation stage cultivator would dare reject the trade made by a core formation stage cultivator? Therefore, it was apparent that the best course of action was to silence him permanently. Fuck. Fang Jinyu couldn't help but curse and think, how did such a neurotic, lovesick cultivator break through the core formation stage? Oh, it's a love-oriented novel world, right? Then, that's fine. As for Fang Jinyu, he was a cultivator with wind, lightning, and fire spiritual roots. He had already mastered the wind harness technique many years ago. Hence, there was definitely something going on behind the scenes of Fang Jinyu's death in the book. Is there anything more unlucky than such a situation? Fang Jinyu's heart was stifled. Meanwhile, the book that appeared early in the morning suddenly turned into a burst of starlight and disappeared. It disappeared ... There's no detailed description either. Fang Jinyu was a little shocked, but his expression was calm. He could handle the situation calmly, because he had dealt with too many bizarre cases in a short time. Then he began to think of a countermeasure. First, he ruled out the possibility of using force to combat the enemy. He was just a cultivator at rank 9 in the key condensation stage. He must be out of his mind to fight a core formation stage cultivator. He was left with no choice but to use his wits. However, Fang Jinyu wasn't an intelligent person. He couldn't come up with any good ideas. After all, an invisible hand wanted him dead even if he was willing to give up the chance to enter the Lingdu secret realm. According to the book, Su Ye's master had already developed feelings for her. In the eyes of Su Ye's master, Su Ye was the purest and most perfect treasure that even the slightest flaw could not taint. However, stealing other people's opportunities was unquestionably a flaw. Her master was the one who made the trade. However, which key condensation stage cultivator would dare reject the trade made by a core formation stage cultivator? Therefore, it was apparent that the best course of action was to silence him permanently. Fuck. Fang Jinyu couldn't help but curse and think, how did such a neurotic, lovesick cultivator break through the core formation stage? Oh, it's a love-oriented novel world, right? Then, that's fine. Why don't I sell all the chances to enter the Lingdu secret realm privately? Fang Jinyu thought, but he quickly shook his head. The Chonling sect wouldn't allow such a situation to happen. It was to prevent people from using such an opportunity to snatch other people's chances to enter the Lingdu secret realm. After all, no key condensation stage cultivator would be willing to give up such an opportunity to break through the foundation establishment stage. Moreover, the Lingdu secret realm offered not only the chance to advance in cultivation, but also precious magic treasures. Every magic treasure in this world was either created naturally by heaven and earth, or refined from the essence of heaven and earth. As a result, luck could be found in all magic treasures. Once a cultivator obtained a magic treasure, the cultivator could share the luck of the magic treasure after refining it. What kind of treasure was luck? There was no need to go into detail. Fang Jinyu could not help but sigh. It was a dead end. He couldn't make deals with others in private. However, the other party could make deals due to his identity as a core formation stage cultivator. Fang Jinyu was so aggrieved that he wanted to vomit blood. Fang Jinyu thought, wait a minute, I can't offend him, but I can hide from him, right? Suddenly, he remembered a special task in the Tianling sect, cleaning the feces of the sect's guardian spirit beast. The spirit beasts of the Tianling sect weren't the bloodline of any ancient mystic beasts. However, it was a group of mutated black pigs. Despite their strength, they couldn't stop eating and needed a lot of food daily. It was said that the mutated black pigs were willing to surrender to the Chonling sect because it provided them with food and drink. Since the black spirit pigs had a huge appetite, their feces was so plentiful that they could be piled up to form a small mountain. It should have been the responsibility of a core formation stage cultivator. After all, it was the sect's guardian spirit beast. However, how could a core formation stage cultivator be willing to do it? Thus, he passed the buck to the Foundation Establishment stage cultivators. However, the Foundation Establishment stage cultivators were also not willing to do so. Hence, they assigned the task to the key condensation stage cultivators. Therefore, a few unlucky key condensation stage cultivators would be sent monthly to help the spirit beasts clean up. It's better to be stinking to high heaven than to die. Gritting his teeth, Fang Jinyu made his decision. There was a core formation stage beast among the black spirit pigs. If the master of the female lead, Su Ye's master, really wanted to kill him, the king of black spirit pigs would save him and not leave him in the lurch. Fang Jinyu was sure about it since the book had mentioned that the king of black spirit pigs had a good impression of the Tianling sect disciples who were willing to help it clean up. Moreover, Su Ye's master had a severe case of mysophobia. Without hesitating, Fang Jinyu left the immortal estate he was living in, used his wind harness technique to descend from the mountainside, and came to a valley. Before Fang Jinyu entered, he could already smell an alluring scent. However, he still braced himself and went in. Since the job was usually vacant, it wasn't hard for him to obtain it. If it were an attractive job, the sect wouldn't have to choose disciples to fulfill the job by drawing lots. Hence, the martial uncle in charge of the valley welcomed him with a big smile. As expected, Su Ye's master didn't come to force him to exchange for a chance to enter the Lingdu secret realm as described in the book. Even though Fang Jinyu couldn't stand the stink, he was still excited. Am I changing my fate? Fang Jinyu could not help but think. Afterward, he suddenly saw an unexpected scene. Today is the day to clean up poop. Refined appearance +1. If he wasn't wrong, it was something like a system. However, who could tell him why cleaning poop could refine a person's appearance? A month ago, Fang Jinyu had been cleaning feces. A month later, Fang Jinyu was still cleaning up feces. Fang Jinyu explained to everyone, I am very grateful that our sect allowed me to enter the Lingdu secret realm. Hence, I volunteered to come here to clean up feces to contribute to the harmonious development of the Chonling sect. Since Fang Jinyu's parents had sacrificed themselves for the sect, they could be said to be the most loyal disciples. Therefore, although Fang Jinyu's explanation seemed reasonable when first hearing it, it was just nonsense when one carefully thought over his words. However, nobody suspected his words. Of course, there was nothing to doubt. Fang Jinyu had spent so much time cleaning up the feces because he wasn't sure whether Su Ye's master was no longer keeping an eye on him. However, he didn't have to clean up the feces anymore. According to the book, Su Ye's master would have to leave the Chonling sect in a month due to an urgent matter, which caused the female lead to encounter her first crisis. As the female lead, she would definitely fall on her feet and gain benefits. However, Su Ye's master became a cuckold due to the crisis. Well, everyone could immediately understand the situation. After all, the female lead would put every guy on the bench. Of course, it had nothing to do with Fang Jinyu. He just wanted to stay alive. Once again, today is a day to clean up poop. Refined hands-on ability +1. Fang Jinyu heaved a sigh of relief while looking up at the starry sky. Finally, the month of feces clearing was coming to an end. After that, he experienced an odd warmth in his hands, as if his arm's strength had suddenly increased. It was indeed not an illusion. His strength had increased. The hands-on ability was the ability to operate something or make it function. The other 29 days of the previous month were uneventful, aside from the outrageously refined appearance +1 on the first day. For example, physical strength +1, poison and stench resistance +1, responsiveness +1, and so on. It was all related to what Fang Jinyu had done that day. Fang Jinyu's cultivation had remained the same in the past month, but his overall strength had improved significantly. Aside from his physical fitness, the techniques he had mastered initially were now more appropriate for him. It was because he had obtained 7 casting speed +1 when he continuously used techniques to bury the excrement of the spirit beast. However, Fang Jinyu was a little regretful about the situation. Although he seemed to have a system, he did not have a personal attribute panel. Hence, even though he gained a lot of +1 for a month, he still had no idea about the accurate data. As such, even though Fang Jinyu had such a cheat, he still lived his life with caution and didn't even dare to be careless. It was the last night Fang Jinyu stayed in the valley, but he didn't leave the valley where the black spirit pigs lived. The place was deserted. Other than the group of mutant black pigs, there were no other living creatures. Thus, the Foundation establishment stage. Cultivator guarding the valley was so bored that he invited Fang Jinyu for a drink. Since there was nobody else in the valley other than Fang Jinyu, Li was the surname of the martial uncle in charge of the valley. His spiritual roots were better than Fang Jinyu's since he had dual elemental spiritual roots. The fewer the elemental spiritual roots, the better the innate talent for cultivation. The best innate talent for cultivation was having single elemental spiritual roots, called Chonling spiritual root. As long as the cultivators with Chonling spiritual root didn't become demons in the middle of their cultivation, they would definitely become core formation stage cultivators. However, although Martial Uncle Li had dual element spiritual roots, he was only at rank 3 in the Foundation establishment stage after cultivating for most of his life. Since he didn't have any background in the Chonling sect, it was said that he was bothered by something in his past. He had been delayed for 30 years from entering the Lingdu secret realm. Otherwise, even if he hadn't formed his golden core, he would have been in rank 9 in the Foundation establishment stage. At this time, a stream of light suddenly streaked across the night sky above the two of them. It brought an earth-shattering pressure and had already gone far away in just a moment. When Martial Uncle Li saw the light streak, his expression suddenly stiffened. Afterward, he waved his sleeve and said, "I'm tired. You may leave now." Even key condensation stage cultivators didn't need much sleep, not to mention Foundation establishment stage cultivators. Hence, it was just an excuse. However, when Martial Uncle Li saw Fang Jinyu looking up at the sky as he stood up to leave, he said, "That's the sword energy of a sword cultivator. Only a core formation stage cultivator could release such dazzling and powerful energy. If you encounter them in the future, hide as far away as possible. Sometimes you might die by just a glance." After hearing Martial Uncle Li's warning, Fang Jinyu was overjoyed and quickly cupped his fists in thanks. In addition to thanking Martial Uncle Li for his warning, his words also revealed much helpful information. The Chonling sect wasn't a sword sect. Although they had sword cultivation techniques, only a few people could master the technique. The only core formation stage cultivator who mastered sword techniques was the master of Su Ye. Fang Jinyu chose to stay in the valley until dawn. Fang Jinyu was like a swallow darting through the air using his wind harness technique. Soon, he returned to his residence on the mountain peak. Then, he walked back to his immortal estate in a good mood. Since he, a cannon fodder who should have only been able to survive for 1 chapter, could be considered to have changed his fate at this point. However, there's still half a year before the opening of the Lingdu secret realm. I can't let my guard down in this half a year. Whether it's the female lead, Su Ye, or the people around her, I must stay away from them. What did the main character represent? The cause of all trouble. Although his rank 9 in the key condensation stage cultivation base seemed powerful, at least a dozen people with the same cultivation base were on each Chonling sect's mountain peaks. The Chonling sect had a total of 72 peaks. His cultivation level would not be enough for him to die even if he had 10 lives after being caught up in the protagonist's troubles. "Senior brother, you're back. Senior brother, why did you smell like marinated meat?" A mischievous little girl was standing outside Fang Jinyu's immortal estate. When she saw Fang Jinyu, her eyes curved into a crescent moon-like shape, and she looked delighted. However, she quickly pinched her nose and ran away in the next second. Fang Jinyu had memories of the former Fang Jinyu, so he naturally recognized this little girl. This little girl's name was Xin Qianchen, and she was also a disciple of the Chonling sect. She didn't reside in the same peak as Fang Jinyu, but rather one nearby. The peak was called the Mount Goddess and only accepted female disciples. Xin Qianchen was familiar with the former Fang Jinyu because the little girl had run into trouble when she was out. She was helped by the former Fang Jinyu, who just so happened to run into her. From then on, the two of them were considered friends. Fang Jinyu asked politely, "Junior sister Xin, why are you looking for me? Here, senior brother, this is for you." Xin Qianchen took out a small jade bottle. Blossom Dew. Fang Jinyu found out that it was the bottle of Blossom Dew, which was a specialty product of Mount Goddess, and a costly resource in the Chonling sect. A small bottle costs 20 spirit stones. 20 spirit stones were the amount Fang Jinyu earned after a month of hard work in the Spirit Beast's Valley. He might make less than 10 spirit stones in a month if it were any other job. Unlike the novels Fang Jinyu had read before, the Chonling sect didn't give ordinary disciples spirit stones every month unless they had a job in the sect. Apart from it, the Chonling sect would not issue quests like an NPC. In the Chonling sect, the higher one's cultivation base was, the more freedom one had. After some thought, Fang Jinyu looked at the Blossom Dew in his hand and decided. He decided to try his best to help Xin Qianchen in the future. At the very least, he would not let her end up as miserable as in the book. He wanted to help her avoid dying tragically. However, if he failed to protect her, he would try to let her rest in peace. After all, the female protagonist, Su Ye, was a useless person. According to the book, she was about to break through the nascent soul stage just by having sex with all male characters in the books for more than 10 years. In such a situation, Hon Peopao could only hold the small green bottle and tremble when hiding in the corner. "Senior brother, it's stinking to high heaven. I'll go first." "Oh, right. Chun Baxing and the others have been looking for you recently. Senior brother, be careful of them. I have a feeling that they're looking for you for trouble." Xin Qianchen couldn't stand Fang Jinyu's stink and ran down the mountain as if she was escaping. As he watched her leave, Fang Jinyu thought, "Chun Baxing?" Fang Jinyu was familiar with him. He was a notorious bad guy among the key condensation stage cultivators in the Chonling sect. He gathered a group of people and started a reselling business. However, he had a nasty reputation. It was said that he often went back on his word and was suspected of having killed many people to steal goods. However, according to the book, such a nasty person lived to the end of the book. It was just because Chun Baxing had fallen in love with the female lead, Su Ye, at first sight. Chun Baxing would never go against Su Ye's request. He would do whatever Su Ye asked him to do, even if he had to sacrifice himself to fulfill Su Ye's wishes. He would do it and show the results to Su Ye. As the saying goes, everything goes right when I love you. However, since Fang Jinyu didn't share the same ideas and values with them, he only lived for one chapter. Fang Jinyu was confused with the situation and thought, "I've never met Chun Baxing before, and the former Fang Jinyu had nothing to do with him either. So, why is this brat looking for me?" Afterward, he decided to take a shower first. The Blossom Dew was indeed worth 20 spirit stones. The room was filled with fragrance from just one drop. After taking a shower, Fang Jinyu felt much more refreshed. The fatigue that had accumulated over the past month was gone. Next, I'll try and see what will happen after a day of cultivation. Such a nasty person lived to the end of the book. It was just because Chun Baxing had fallen in love with the female lead, Su Ye, at first sight. Chun Baxing would never go against Su Ye's request. He would do whatever Su Ye asked him to do, even if he had to sacrifice himself to fulfill Su Ye's wishes. He would do it and show the results to Su Ye. As the saying goes, everything goes right when I love you. However, since Fang Jinyu didn't share the same ideas and values with them, He only lived for one chapter. Fang Jinyu was confused with the situation and thought, I've never met Chun Baxing before, and the former Fang Jinyu had nothing to do with him either. So, why is this brat looking for me? Afterward, he decided to take a shower first. The blossom dew was indeed worth 20 spirit stones. The room was filled with fragrance from just one drop. After taking a shower, Fang Jinyu felt much more refreshed. The fatigue that had accumulated over the past month was gone. Next, I'll try and see what will happen after a day of cultivation. Today is a day of cultivating with no gain. Understanding from refinement +1. When the day ended and night fell, Fang Jinyu saw the day's achievements as he had wished. However, he had almost moved to tears. I thought I didn't feel any improvement in my cultivation because I'm at rank 9 in the key, condensation stage, and am about to break through the foundation, establishment stage. However, it turns out that I've reached a bottleneck and my cultivation base hasn't improved at all. Fang Jinyu finally understood why the ranked 9 in key condensation stage cultivators were desperate for the foundation establishment elixir. As long as one had less than 4-element spiritual roots, one could break through the foundation establishment stage by consuming one foundation establishment elixir. It was called a sacred medicine that could change one's fate. Hence, the foundation establishment elixir price was costly, which was 30,000 spirit stones per elixir. Even a foundation establishment stage cultivator couldn't afford such a huge amount of spirit stones, not to mention a key condensation stage cultivator. It might take more than 100 years for a key condensation stage cultivator to save 30,000 spirit stones, although some immortal city would provide loans to ranked 9 in key condensation stage cultivators. Even if they successfully broke through the foundation establishment stage, they had to work for the immortal city for at least 20 years. If it's not enough, their life would naturally belong to the immortal city. At that time, they would have to work their fingers to the bone as an enslaved person or a servant. Fang Jinyu didn't get the information from the book. He naturally knew it since he had inherited the memories of the former Fang Jinyu. The immortal city, it was just a name to increase its reputation, since only immortal cultivators lived inside. Usually, there would be at least one core formation stage cultivator in charge of such an immortal city. The Lingdu secret realm could help the Tongling sect's disciples to break through the foundation establishment stage, because the disciples who left the Lingdu secret realm could exchange their gains for at least one foundation establishment elixir. If they were lucky enough, they could even exchange for 3. It was a shortcut to getting rich. Even foundation establishment stage cultivators would be envious of it. Meanwhile, Fang Jinyu suddenly had a wonderful feeling. As his mind became clear, all the details of the storm raging technique, a technique he had been cultivating, and other cultivation details appeared. Visit Novelbin, see him for updates. After reading through the details in his mind, Fang Jinyu immediately understood his mistakes and why he had reached a bottleneck. Fang Jinyu was excited by his discovery. He had a hunch that once he had corrected his mistakes, he might be able to break through the foundation establishment stage without a foundation establishment elixir. Fang Jinyu immediately tried to correct his mistakes in his cultivation excitedly. However, at this moment, Fang Jinyu realized someone had triggered the restrictive enchantment on his immortal estate. Hence, he picked up the mirror beside him and cast a spell on it. After casting a spell, the mirror gradually showed the person's appearance outside the door. It was a low-tier spirit tool named Scouting Mirror. It was used to scout and look into the distance. It was a reward from the sect after the death of the former Fang Jinyu's parents. A foundation establishment stage cultivator could see the foot of the mountain from the middle of the mountain. As for Fang Jinyu, he could only look at the scene outside his immortal estate. It wasn't a wrong tool. After all, it was a low-tier spirit tool that could exchange hundreds of spirit stones. However, since it was too useless, it wasn't a good tool either. Two people appeared in the mirror. One was slightly older and looked to be in his early 30s, while the other was a young man with a somewhat arrogant expression. Soon, Fang Jinyu realized that both were late-stage key condensation cultivators. One was at rank 9 in the key condensation stage, while the other was at rank 7 in the key condensation stage. These two don't look like Chun Baxing. Fang Jinyu was surprised but still went over to cancel the restrictive enchantment. The restrictive enchantment was just an alarm since even a ranked 3 key condensation stage cultivator could break through it. Moreover, he was on the Chonling sect's mountain peak. He believed that the other party wouldn't dare to make a move. As the door opened, Fang Jinyu walked out. He cupped his fists and asked, "Is there something important that the two of you have come to find me?" As soon as Fang Jinyu finished speaking, the young man immediately became angry and said, "You're such an interesting person. Who do you think you are? Do you mean that we can't find you when nothing happens? Besides, why are you so stinky? Did you eat shit? Can you fucking mind your words?" Fang Jinyu was going to curse at him, but he tried his best to suppress his anger. He turned to look at the man in his early 30s and ignored the young man. He was only afraid of the neurotic, lovesick core formation stage cultivator, but it didn't mean he was scared of everyone. Meanwhile, the man in his early 30s looked embarrassed. However, he couldn't say anything due to the other party's status. When he saw Fang Jinyu looking at him, he quickly cupped his fists and said, "Brother Fang, I'm Lu Yifan, and he is Lu Xiaojun. Senior Brother Chun asked us to come and find you." Fang Jinyu's expression changed when he heard such an introduction of an acquaintance. The Chonling sect's disciple was working sneakily. It was true that society was corrupted. Lu Xiaojun couldn't help but laugh when he saw Fang Jinyu change his expression. "Ha ha, you're afraid, right? Look at you being a coward. As you know, we are sent by Senior Brother Chun Baxing. So hurry up, get out of the way, and let us in." Fang Jinyu was speechless and thought, "What the heck? Chun Baxing?" Fang Jinyu showed a pleasant facial expression. He was not afraid of Chun Baxing at all. After all, Chun Baxing was only at rank 9 in the key condensation stage. The book did mention that the fellow would break through the foundation establishment stage in the future. However, the female lead, Su Ye, helped him achieve it. Fang Jinyu snorted, "You two should go back to where you came from." Then he turned around and returned to his immortal estate. At the same time, he restored the restrictive enchantment. Fang Jinyu turned his head and saw Lu Xiaojun. Meanwhile, Lu Xiaojun went furious and scolded, "Who do you think you are? How dare you speak to me with such an attitude?" Fang Jinyu asked coldly, "Do you know the consequences of destroying one's restrictive enchantment?" Lu Xiaojun showed a disdainful expression and said, "So what? You're the one who dug your grave." Afterward, he attacked Fang Jinyu. A wind blade flew out of his hand and slashed at Fang Jinyu. Fang Jinyu thought, "Where did this stupid shit come from?" Fang Jinyu was shocked and continued thinking, "There's really someone who dared to attack." Then, with a backhand grab, the wind blade dissipated halfway. Then, Fang Jinyu formed another wind blade with the scattered wind energy, and it slashed like a thunderbolt. Fang Jinyu's wind blade was 10 times more powerful than Lu Xiaojun's wind blade. Moreover, the speed of the slash was even faster. Lu Xiaojun was stunned. He had practiced with his family many times at home, but nobody had ever attacked him as Fang Jinyu did. Darn it! When Lu Yifang saw the situation, he immediately helped Lu Xiaojun. He didn't dare to let Lu Xiaojun get hurt. Otherwise, he might get punished by Lu Xiaojun's father, a foundation establishment stage cultivator. He immediately activated a talisman. The talisman transformed into a round light shield that obstructed the wind blade. Bang! Although the wind blade dissipated, the luster of the talisman tool also dimmed. However, the ground was already a mess. The strong wind blew in all directions, leaving marks on the immortal estate's rock walls. Lu Yifang didn't intend to continue the fight. He just said, "Brother Fang, please forgive him. Junior Brother Lu is the Chonling sect's new disciple and doesn't know the sect's rules. Please forgive him for not knowing the rules." While speaking, Lu Yifang secretly cursed, "If this brat is just a normal disciple, I want to kill him too." I, Lu Yifang, will be a dog if I work with this brat again in the future." Meanwhile, Fang Jinyu twitched his eyebrow and felt strange. Lu Shajun joined the sect when he was ranked 7 in the key condensation stage. It meant that he was special. After all, the Chonling sect preferred to accept new disciples with weaker cultivation bases yearly. The Chonling sect liked to take talented mortals the most. Thus, Fang Jinyu suppressed his anger and asked, "What did Chun Baxing ask you to do?" Lu Shajun scolded, "Senior brother Chun, Baxing wants you to hand over the chance to enter the Lingdu secret realm. You better hand it to us if you know what's good for you. Don't waste our time." Although Fang Jinyu had defeated Lu Xiaojun with a single blow, he didn't hold back as long as Lu Yifang was with him. Fang Jinyu looked at them as if looking at two idiots and asked, "Brother Lu, is he nuts? Are you nuts? Do you know all I need to do is report the situation to the higher-ups, and the 3 of you will have your cultivation base crippled and be expelled from the sect?" Meanwhile, Fang Jinyu thought, "If I can sell the chance, I've done so. Or else, why will I have to clean up feces for a month to avoid that neurotic, love-struck core formation stage cultivator?" Lu Yifang answered, "Of course, we know it, and so does Senior Brother Chun. However, Senior Brother Chun asked us to come here to tell you that other people wanted the chance. We're just following orders." Afterward, Lu Yifang looked at the stupid shit beside him and continued saying with a smile, "Brother Fang, Junior Brother Lu's father is a senior alchemist. If you agree to give up, Senior Brother Chun will take care of the matter, so you don't have to worry about it. Furthermore, Junior Brother, Lu's father promises to refine a foundation establishment. Elixir for you once you gather all the ingredients. Only a foundation establishment stage. Cultivator could make the ranked 9 in key condensation. Stage cultivator address him as martial uncle. Unless one's relationship with someone was good, the seniority of cultivators only depended on their cultivation base, regardless of age." When Fang Jinyu heard his words, he cursed in his heart. "What the fuck? What a good plan. The brat's father asked me to collect all the ingredients, but he will just give me 1 elixir after he finishes the refinement? Did he take me for a fool? This brat even treated it as a fucking favor. Even a fool knows that 1 refinement will produce at least 7 or 8 elixirs." Meanwhile, Fang Jinyu only wanted to curse everyone. Hence, he coldly sent them off. However, Lu Yifang spoke again. "Brother Fang, I know we have made things hard for you. Hence, Senior Brother Chun said we could give you 5 days to consider the matter. Please forgive us for being in such a hurry. The senior wants us to get things done in a month. Now that half a month has passed, we don't have much time left." Fang Jinyu was startled after hearing Lu Yifang's words. Afterward, he turned to Lu Yifang and asked, "Is he a great cultivator?" Only the core formation stage cultivator could be addressed as a great cultivator. As soon as Fang Jinyu finished his words, Lu Yifang immediately looked at him in shock. Lu Yifang didn't answer, but his response gave Fang Jinyu the answer. Only a core formation stage cultivator could make the notorious Chun Baxing obediently follow his orders. He even convinced a foundation establishment stage alchemist with a high position in the immortal world to give him a promise. CHCK for EW Saint Rise on No VL Bin C0M. The only core formation stage cultivator who needed a chance to enter the Lingdu secret realm was Su Ye's master. Fang Jinyu didn't expect that he was still unable to avoid him after a month of cleaning feces. Suddenly, Fang Jinyu felt as if he had seen his death. Fang Jinyu thought, did Canon Fodder have no human rights? Fuck you! However, due to Fang Jinyu's strong will to live, he had an idea in the next second. Fang Jinyu said, 5 days isn't enough. I need 10 days. If I insist on not giving in, you can do nothing to me. Once I've entered the Lingdu secret realm, I'll naturally break through the foundation establishment stage. It's just a matter of time. At that time, as long as I didn't cause any trouble and did closed door cultivation all year round, even the great core formation stage cultivator couldn't do anything to me. Core formation stage cultivators were not allowed to attack foundation. establishment stage cultivators of the same sect. It was a rule made by the nascent soul stage grandmaster of the Chonling sect. It was said that a foundation, establishment stage cultivator of the Chonling sect had once deeply offended a core, formation stage cultivator. However, the foundation establishment stage cultivator was still alive. Fang Jinyu was trying to buy himself some time. It's impossible. Lu Xiaojun was about to reject him, but Lu Yifeng interrupted him and said, 10 days. All right, it's a deal. I'll visit you 10 days later. Actually, the core formation stage cultivator wanted them to get things done within half a year. They just had to get the chance to enter the Lingdu secret realm from Fang Jinyu before the opening, since they hoped to leave a good impression on the great core formation stage cultivator. They wanted to get things done as soon as possible. Hence, they told Fang Jinyu they didn't have much time left. Lu Yifeng then bid farewell. I'm not going to send you off. Fang Jinyu didn't welcome them, so he naturally responded apathetically. Lu Xiaojun looked angry and seemed to have something to say, but he was pulled away by Lu Yifeng. Seeing the two of them leave, Fang Jinyu suppressed his urge to snitch on them. He then restored the restrictive enchantment and began correcting his cultivation mistakes. If I can break through the foundation establishment stage without a foundation establishment elixir, then I can easily solve all the dangers. After all, the foundation establishment stage cultivators were not allowed to enter the Lingdu secret realm. He could use the chance to exchange for the follow-up cultivation technique of the storm raging technique with the Chonling sect leader. The storm raging technique was a high-tier cultivation technique with 3 attributes: wind, fire, and lightning. If the former Fang Jinyu's parents didn't sacrifice themselves for the sect, the former Fang Jinyu wouldn't be able to obtain the key condensation section of the technique. The cultivation techniques were only divided into high-tier and low-tier. Most cultivators only cultivated low-tier techniques. Some rogue cultivators who were lucky enough to become a cultivator just knew some basic key condensation chants. A night had passed, but Fang Jinyu's cultivation base remained the same. It was natural. After all, Fang Jinyu had reached a bottleneck. However, after correcting a few of his mistakes, he could clearly feel that the flow of his inner energy was smoother. Fang Jinyu also understood the correct way to use his identity as a transmigrator. The more I do high-tier activities, the more help I'll be able to gain after refining them. The feedback from cleaning feces could be said to be negligible. After all, it was just simple labor work. Fang Jinyu's spellcasting speed increased due to his repeated use of spells. The only benefit he gained from cleaning feces was the ability to endure the stench. He had refined his ability to endure the stench more than 10 times. However, all the gains from the ability to endure the stench couldn't even compare to the understanding +1 he got today. Hence, Fang Jinyu continued his cultivation the next day. Today is another day of cultivating with no gain. Understanding from refinement +1. Last night, he could only correct a few mistakes in his cultivation due to his lack of insight. However, the specific cultivation method for the storm raging technique manifested in his mind. As understanding +1 reappeared, Fang Jinyu corrected a portion of it overnight, and his inner energy began to flow even smoother. If the flow of his inner energy was like sand flowing in the desert, it was now flowing smoothly like a waterfall. GGTDL test VLS at .0/VEL by Co. On the 3rd day, he gained another understanding +1. Fang Jinyu was naturally overjoyed with his achievement. After correcting his mistakes overnight, the inner energy in his body reached the point where he could cast spells as he pleased. Even the technique of casting spells he previously mastered had significantly improved. If someone like Lu Xiaojun attacked him again, Fang Jinyu could kill him with a counterattack. Once he attacked him, even the other cultivators, rank 9 in the key condensation stage, could not save him. Fang Jinyu was now able to strike like the foundation establishment stage cultivator. Fang Jinyu was now considered a half step to the foundation establishment stage. Unfortunately, he didn't gain what he had previously on the 4th day. Today is a day to sublimate your inner self with the Blossom Dew. Refined appearance +1. although a bottle of Blossom Dew cost 20 spirit stones. It was not a one-time use product. He could use it many times, and he could use it for around 2 years with conservation use. What can I do with being handsome? Fang Jinyu couldn't help but mock. Among the refinements, Fang Jinyu didn't hope to see gains in his appearance. Even though he wasn't handsome, he didn't care about his appearance. After all, he was already a cultivator, so why should he care about his appearance? He believed that everything should be based on cultivation. Fortunately, he once again saw the understanding +1, that he wished to achieve the most on the next day's cultivation. Fang Jinyu finally broke through the bottleneck as the key. Condensation cultivation method appeared in his mind, and his storm-raging technique evolved. His inner energy, which had previously stopped improving, showed some changes. Meanwhile, Fang Jinyu knew that it was his opportunity to break through. He could undoubtedly break through the foundation establishment stage if he immediately consumed a foundation establishment elixir. However, he didn't have a foundation establishment elixir. As a result, Fang Jinyu could only use spells to improve his inner energy and spiritual energy gradually. Today is a day of cultivation with a small gain. Refined inner energy +1. I've refined my inner energy? Fang Jinyu was stunned. Then, he felt like he had just consumed a superior tier elixir, and his inner energy surged. Therefore, he immediately continued to circulate his cultivation technique. Then, naturally, his inner energy improved. The inner energy helped him shave off his hair and purify his bone marrow. The process was like being reborn. After the process, Fang Jinyu had already exceeded his lifespan. Foundation establishment stage lifespan, 200 years. Fang Jinyu couldn't help but smile. His idea was indeed feasible. He didn't have to rely on the foundation establishment elixir to force a breakthrough. Instead, he could achieve the breakthrough by comprehending all the techniques he had cultivated and correcting the flaws in his cultivation. Afterward, he could accumulate his inner energy and break through naturally. Fang Jinyu immediately used the storm raging technique to stabilize his body's endless flow of inner energy. Fang Jinyu didn't need to strengthen his cultivation because the breakthrough didn't require using elixirs. Fang Jinyu opened his eyes after familiarizing himself with the foundation establishment's inner energy. Afterward, he immediately left his immortal estate and headed towards Mount Chonling, where the Chonling sect leader was. Fang Jinyu also had a talisman tool. It was an immortal tool that was inferior to spirit tools. Although it wasn't a powerful tool, it was easier for key condensation stage cultivators to master it. Fang Jinyu intended to hand over the chance that had constantly threatened him. Moreover, he was also prepared to file a complaint when meeting the Chonling sect leader. Fang Jinyu would definitely not file a complaint against Su Ye's master. After all, he had no evidence about Su Ye's master threatening his life, and Su Ye's master was a core formation stage cultivator. He was going to file a complaint against Chun Baxing, Liu Xiaojun, and Liu Yifan. Fang Jinyu didn't dare to provoke an alchemist. After all, alchemists were famous for their strong connections, especially a foundation establishment stage alchemist. They could even ask a core formation stage cultivator for help. However, the Chonling sect could provoke an alchemist. Mount Chonling was the highest peak among the 72 peaks in the Chonling sect. It was known for its unique soaring heights and steep-sided, jagged peaks. Moreover, it had the most charming climate and scenery. Unlike Mount Shaowei, where Fang Jinyu lived, there was a gate at the bottom of Mount Chonling. Moreover, it was surrounded by restrictive enchantment. Even core formation stage cultivators could not fly over it. They could only enter Mount Chonling through the gate. It was said that Mount Chonling was the actual entrance of the Chonling sect. The other 71 peaks were seized from the hands of the different sects when the Chonling sect was developing and growing. Of course, there were peaks that the Chonling sect easily attained. For example, Mount Shaowei. Some peaks that produced specialty products, such as Mount Goddess, were all occupied by other sects back then. After all, in addition to a stable and reliable promotion channel, the benefit chain is the most crucial factor in an organization, no matter how strong a sect was. It would collapse in the blink of an eye if one of the components was lost. Fang Jinyu had arrived on a talisman tool. For a foundation establishment stage cultivator, his spirit item was too shabby. After all, a spirit tool indicated the rank of a foundation establishment stage cultivator. However, no matter how shabby it was, he was still a foundation establishment stage cultivator. Meanwhile, two disciples who ranked 9 in the key condensation stage were on duty. They hurried over to greet him. "Greetings, Martial Uncle." The Chonling sect had around 1,000 disciples who ranked 9 in the key condensation stage. Thus, although the two disciples ranked 9 in the key condensation stage, they weren't familiar with Fang Jinyu. "Junior brothers, please help me report to the sect leader about me, Fang Jinyu. The new foundation establishment stage disciple from Mount Shaowei wants to pay a formal visit to the sect leader." When the two disciples who ranked 9 in the key condensation stage heard Fang Jinyu's words, they immediately looked envious. A new foundation establishment stage cultivator meant that Fang Jinyu had just broken through to the foundation establishment stage. In other words, just a few days ago, Fang Jinyu held the same rank as them, ranking 9 in the key condensation stage. Yes, Martial Uncle. The two disciples, who ranked 9 in the key condensation stage, quickly informed the Chonling sect leader of the issue because it was their obligation to do so. Fang Jinyu thought that he would have to wait for a while. After all, even though the sect leader was not a core formation stage cultivator, he was still busy. Unless the other part was a core formation stage cultivator, no one could cut the queue. However, the two disciples who ranked 9 in the key condensation stage told him that the sect leader wanted him to hurry over. Although their words seemed strange, Fang Jinyu still went up the mountain. Meanwhile, he thought, after all, complaining. No, it is more important to solve the problem of the chance of entering the Lingdu secret realm. Although there are magic treasures in the Lingdu secret realm that will help increase his luck after refining them, none are more important than saving his life. After reading the book, Fang Jinyu knew of 3 locations where magic treasures were hidden. However, he was now in an awkward situation. Apart from one half-refined magic treasure that he could try to get, he would dig his own grave to visit the other 2 locations with his rank, one in the foundation establishment stage. Fang Jinyu didn't dare to wander around Mount Chonling. Instead, he headed straight for the main hall. As soon as he entered, he found only the sect leader and a young man with his hands behind his back in the hall. The young man seemed to be a mortal, but the sect leader was very respectful to him. Fang Jinyu quickly bowed and said, "Disciple Fang Jinyu greets senior and sect leader." Although Fang Jinyu had never met a Chonling sect's core formation stage cultivator, the young man in front of him was definitely a core formation stage cultivator. He was likely on the verge of breaking his core and forming his nascent soul. Otherwise, the sect leader wouldn't have such a polite attitude. Chonling's sect leader, according to the book, was now meeting with Su Ye's master and treating him as if he were a peer. After all, the sect leader's identity was exceptional, and he had his seniority. The sect leader asked, "Tell us, what do you want?" "Sect leader, I am lucky to comprehend the truth of the spell and break through the bottleneck. I broke through to the foundation establishment stage by accumulating my inner energy. Therefore, I can't have the chance given by the sect to enter the Lingdu secret realm. So, ... Fang Jinyu immediately explained the situation. However, before he finished his words, the young man interrupted him and said, "Just have the chance with you. Entering the Lingdu secret realm is quite a good opportunity for you. It'll save you 20 years of hard work if you're lucky. But before you go in, you must bring a discipline pearl. Hurry up and thank Grandmaster," Chonling sect leader said immediately. Fang Jinyu finally understood the young man's identity. He was the Chonling sect's nascent soul stage Grandmaster, a foundation establishment stage cultivator would have a lifespan of 200 years. A core formation stage cultivator would have a lifespan of 500 years. A nascent soul stage cultivator would have a lifespan of at least 1,500 years. As a cultivator who had gone through the ups and downs of history, He was indeed a true otherworldly celestial. A nascent soul stage cultivator would have a lifespan of at least 1,500 years. As a cultivator who had gone through the ups and downs of history, he was indeed a true otherworldly celestial. The nascent soul stage grandmaster was why the Chonling sect became the head of all the sects in the world. Even if most of the 72 peaks didn't have restrictive enchantments, nobody dared to provoke them. Fang Jinyu immediately bowed deeply and said, "Thank you, Grandmaster, for your grace." Tianling sect's nascent soul stage grandmaster nodded in response to Fang Jinyu's words, "Yes." Then he continued, "You're just like your parents, but if you want to go far in the cultivation world, don't be too kind." Fang Jinyu finally understood why the sect leader told him to come up quickly. It turned out that the former, Fang Jinyu's parents, had an acquaintance with the nascent soul stage grandmaster. However, they seemed not to have a close acquaintance with the nascent soul stage grandmaster. But that was all right. Fang Jinyu quickly said, "Grandmaster, thank you for your reminder. I'll remember your reminder." Sect leader, "I have something to report." "Go ahead." Fang Jinyu said, "Not long ago, Chun Baxing sent someone to look for me, asking me to give up my chance to enter the Lingdu secret realm. Of course, I rejected his request. However, the other party said that if I gave up, they would take care of all matters. Moreover, a junior brother named Lu Xiaojun, who claims that his father is an alchemist, promised to help me refine a foundation establishment elixir. Since the nascent soul stage grandmaster was present, he didn't dare to discuss too many details. Hence, he briefly mentioned the two main culprits. As for Lu Yifang, he chose to let him go." Before the sect leader spoke, the nascent soul stage grandmaster showed a gloomy expression and snorted angrily. "Huh, what bold disciples! EWW ovals UPDTs on Nov, L, BI. Com." Fang Jinyu could not help but feel confused. Why did Grandmaster appear even more enraged than him? The nascent soul stage grandmaster turned to look at the sect leader and asked, "You know what to do, right?" The sect leader immediately answered, "I will deal with it according to the sect's rules." He knew that the grandmaster personally set some of the sect's rules. Breaking the sect rules was equivalent to provoking the grandmaster. For example, rules like Chunling sect's core formation. Stage cultivators could not harm fellow foundation establishment stage cultivators. Moreover, one who possesses the chance of entering the Lingdu secret realm must enter by themselves. The nascent soul stage grandmaster nodded. Then he turned into a stream of light and immediately disappeared. It was the nascent soul stage's one-of-a-kind ability. Cultivators could switch between physical and virtual forms, gathering and dispersing at their heart's will. The Chunling sect leader looked relieved after the grandmaster left. Afterward, he looked at Fang Jinyu with a smile and said, "Junior brother Fang, you may go and collect a discipline pearl. Just activate it before you enter the Lingdu secret realm. Senior brother will take care of the other matters." Novel I Become Canon Fodder in Female Protagonist Novel. Chapter 5 completed. Videos Part 1 completed. Subscribe for more videos. Please like, comment, and subscribe.